right there, I thought I would tape a video very quickly on the properties of exponents, or using the properties of exponents. So tonight for homework you have the evens on this properties of exponents page. So I'm going to go through and do the odds for you. So looking at number 1, you can see I have v squared and v cubed, and I need to combine those. And also I have 2 times 2. So I'm going to rewrite this to look like 2 times 2, because I'm going to combine those coefficients, times 4 squared times v squared times v cubed. Now, if you remember from properties of exponents, when I have v squared times v cubed, because the base is the same, I can add the exponents. So that becomes times v to the 5th. And then I multiply 2 times 2, so that is 4 times v to the 5th. So you just write this as 4v to the 5th. Looking at number 3, you see that I have 2 y's that are here. Now, if my variables don't have exponents, that means I just have one of them. So I have a coefficient of 3, so I'm going to move that to the front. I only have one x, so I'm just going to leave that as x. But I have y times y, and whenever I have y to the 1 times y to the 1, I add the exponent, so it becomes y squared. So this looks like 3 times x times y, 1 plus 1. Okay, moving on along to the 5th one here. I have a product to a power. So if I have a whole product to a power and all the stuff inside the parentheses, the term inside the parentheses, I'm going to take every single part of it to the second power. So I'm going to distribute the 2 to the 3, or the squared to the 3, and the squared to the x to the 4th. So it becomes 3 squared times x to the 4th to the 2nd. So from our exponent rules, I'm just going to take 3 times 3 is 9. But whenever I have an exponent that is taken to another power, I'm going to multiply the exponents together. So that becomes times x to the 8th. So my final answer would be 9 times x to the 8th. Number 7 is kind of very similar to number 5. I'm going to distribute the power to each of the numbers and variables inside the parentheses. So I'm going to end up with 4 to the 4th times u to the 4th. And 4 to the 4th is going to be, I'm going to use my calculator and just multiply 4 by itself 4 times. And my final answer, 4 to the 4th, is 256 u to the 4th power. Number 9, looking at this, I have a couple of things that I'm going to need to do. First, I'm going to distribute the to the power of 3 to each of the items inside the parentheses. So I have 2 to the 3rd, u to the 3rd, and then I have v squared to the 3rd. So I'm going to do v, and then that's going to be 2 times 3 times v u to the 3rd. So I'm going to simplify this even further, and I'm going to multiply those together, v and then u to the 3rd. Well, now I'm just going to combine and add my variables that are multiplied together. So I have 2, and then I have u to the 3rd times u to the 3rd. So that's going to be u to the 3 plus 2, and that's going to be 6. And then I have v to the 6 plus 1, which would be 7. So this is my final answer, except I need to multiply out 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. So that final answer is actually going to be a u to the 6th, v to the 7th. Okay, looking at number 11 and 13, we have quotients of exponents. So we're going to use our rule for quotients. So here I have 4, and I have nothing to divide 4 by. But I have an a to the 3rd and an a to the 4th. So I'm going to take a to the 3rd minus 4, because if I'm dividing them, I'm going to subtract them. And then b squared. So simplified even further, I'm going to have 4a to the negative 1, b squared. Well, I never like to have a negative exponent. So I'm going to go ahead and do 4b squared, but I'm going to move my a to the denominator, because that's what a negative exponent means I move it to the denominator, and it's just a to the 1 in the denominator. 13 is kind of the same thing. I have x to the 3 minus 4 divided by 2y. And here I end up with x to the negative 1 times 2y. Well, I don't like to have negative in my exponent, so I'm going to move it to the denominator, and so that becomes a 2x times y. So hopefully that'll help you do some of the even problems on this for homework tonight, and you can be ready for class tomorrow.